So guys, this is the module that is there for our training. As you can see, these are the modules defined for our course right now. This is the R2 sessions. Initial session would be there for Java introduction, basically related to, all the topics that would be related to Selenium automation testing. I would be covering those topics. In addition to that, I would be giving you some home learning topics that you have to pick up on your own, because our scope is somewhat limited to 8 hours. So we cannot cover all the topics in core Java in 8 hours. So all those topics which are required for Selenium automation, we would be covering those topics in these 8 hours. And I request all you guys to be with your systems, because today we don't have, I think, Megha and Madhurya with the system, so that limits our practicing part in the session. Next time we would be practicing a lot more and having a good amount of hands-on in Java. So please be with your systems in the next session.
Yeah, yes, Ravi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the third module, the second session for our Java training. I would be taking these topics, in different sequence as listed here, because I would be covering topic in relevance and not as per the things given in this. So as and how the topics become relevant as we move ahead in Java, we would be covering them in that respect. So for today, we would be covering these parts: access modifiers, basic classes and objects, data types in Java, keywords, and if-else, for loop, and switch statement. So that would be the uh, you know content for today. And if time permits and we have more time, then we would be diving into inheritance part, but only if time permits, because I want you guys to understand the basic control flow statement first, and then go to inheritance and abstraction part, because those things are slightly difficult to understand as compared to the other topics in Java. So we would be covering that in detail, so that there is no doubt when we are creating automation frameworks. So I hope my voice is clear to you all, guys.
Yes, Ravi.
Yes, Ravi. Yes.
Okay. So let's start with the classes and objects part now. For that, we have to go for access modifier first. Let us understand what these keywords of public, private, protected, what these keywords are and what their scope is there in the programming. So let us understand these variables and constants in Java. So basically, two types of Java constants exist. One is the numeric constant and other is the character constant. Numeric would be integer and real. Integer would be the whole number, real would be the decimal numbers. Again, character would be like single character, string would be collection of characters, white spaces, special characters, and any other thing that you can type using your keyboard. So this is what it is. Now, this thing is slightly not required for us to understand. So these are the different data types in Java: primitive and non-primitive. Non-primitive basically consisting of classes, interface, and arrays, which we would be looking into it later on. These are the things that we have to take care now: numeric and non-numeric. So numeric would be having integer, float, and double. Non-numeric would be having character, string, and boolean. As you can see, the numeric different type of Numeric data types are byte, short, integer, and long integer. The bit size are respectively 8, 16, 32, and 64. Since these are signed data types, so that they would have a range of minus a value to plus a value. So that would be 8 for 8 bit. It would be like minus 128. That is minus 2 raised to 7 to plus 2 raised to 7 with including 0. So this is what signed integer means. For short integer, that would be like minus 32,000 something to 32,000 plus 32,000 something including 0. Then for integer, it would be like this number to this number including 0. These are all signed integers, so it will have negative values as well as positive values. If you want to store more values, you have to go for the longer version. If you want to store smaller values, you can go for the smaller ones. So these are the basic data types in Java. Now what are floating and double points? As I said, floating point types are the ones which store decimal values. For example, 3.1415. So these data types basically store values with decimals. Now Boolean data type. What this data type stores is either true value or false value. It is a single bit Boolean which stores the value in 0 or 1, and you can have while writing a program we can have either it as either true or false. Now character literals, these things are not that important. We would be looking in we would be skipping these part. Escape sequence. Now these are again some of the important commands in Java. This especially these two, \t and \n. So this is the horizontal tab that we give through our keyboard by pressing the tab button. This is for moving the cursor to the new line. So these are the two important escape sequence that we need to understand. Okay, so now we need to understand what these access modifiers is. The first one is public. Let me have a notepad open for you to make you understand. Number one, access modifiers. Let me increase the font size for this. Access modifiers in Java. Number one is for class. The first access modifier is default, as in you don't give any access modifier to this class, it would be still valid. We have defined this class as public. If we don't define it as a public, it would still be valid definition for a class. That is the default modifier. We don't specify any access modifier with the class. So that is the default access modifier. The scope of this access modifier is throughout our workspace. What workspace is, basically, if you want to understand this, go to your Eclipse IDE. When you create a new project, Java project, the scope of this is for this Java project. Any class in this Java project can access this class if we are defining it with the default access modifier. That is the significance. Second is public. Now this is again, scope is throughout our workspace. So basically you can say that default is same as public. Now the third type is private. If you define a class as private, the scope of this class is only for that class. No other class can access this class. So these are the basic access modifiers in Java for the classes. The fourth one is final. Now what final is, when you declare a class as final, you cannot change the content of that class which is defined in the class, and you cannot inherit a class. That is what the final keyword defines. So the scope for this is again the same class with no change in the content. So these are the different type of access modifier for a class.
So Ravi, default,
Yeah,
default
yeah.
can be considered as same as the public in that case.
Yeah, but we need a public class so that we can compile a class properly. So we generally define a class as public, not as default. If you are writing a code, and this is a private one. If we don't want a class to be accessed
Yeah.
by any other class, we define it as private. Final would just make that class as something which cannot be changed, and we would be looking into this final keyword sometime later in today's
Okay.
session, so that we understand this final keyword more properly. But you understand, private is like your private own house, no one else can access it without your permission. Public is like a public place, anyone has the access coming in and coming out. In that way you can understand this. And default is again similar to the public access.
Okay.
So any questions for this access modifiers?
No, Ravi.
Okay. So the other access modifier is now for the variables. Two. For variables or attributes in Java class. Again, it will be the same part only. Default, all these four, but in addition to this, you will have a new keyword associated, that is static keyword. Now this keyword, as we have already seen in the function as well. So what we can do is, for variables or attributes and methods. So this is what the access modifier is for attributes as well as methods. Now final would be not for a method. This final keyword is not applicable for a method in a Java class, but except that all these keywords are valid for a method, whereas for attributes, all these 5 keywords are relevant. Now what static is?
Ravi,
Yeah.
what is the difference between a variable and an attribute?
Variables or attributes is the same. It's just the name. Like we sometimes call it as a variable or attribute. To give you an example, just take a look at this class. These things are variables in a class: private, integer. The data types that we just looked upon in the examples right now: integer, float, double, character, boolean. All those things are data types, and those data types are used with, you know, attribute. These variables or attributes.
Okay.
So this is one attribute, then this is another attribute. It's a string one. Then this is a float. It's a double. It's a character. So these are all variables in Java, and this is a function in Java.
Okay. Okay.
Variables are something which would hold some value. If you want to understand it in more depth, variables are something which will hold a value. For example, this is an integer variable, so it will hold an integer value. If
Hmm.
it's a string
Yeah.
variable, so it will hold a string value. Now each type of variable is specific to its type, so you can only store the specific, values in those variables. Now if I want to store an integer value in this, for example, so if you see this, it will give me a compilation error saying me that type mismatch cannot convert from string to int. So it will hold only its specific type of value inside, as you have defined in this. Like it's an integer variable, so it will only hold an integer value. It will not hold a string value.
Okay.
Now access where, and this is the access modifier that you have discussed just now: private, public, and whatever.
Okay.
Okay. Now I've just missed one more access modifier for classes. Let me just include it. This thing comes with a star, and its name is protected. Useful only in inheritance. Otherwise, it has the same scope as private. Now, how this keyword is, different in case of inheritance, we would be looking into it when we take up the topic of inheritance in our next session. So these are the different type of access modifier that exist for a class. So, and for variables and methods. So I hope this part is clear to you all, guys. Uh, I think you should have some questions in your mind right now, and please do ask some questions so that this session becomes more interactive instead of me just speaking and going on and on. I want you guys to start asking some questions. So any questions to you guys? Madhurya? Hello?
Yeah, Ravi. Like you have used the string there for
Yeah.
my name equal to Ravi Kumar Rai. We
Yeah.
can use char also in that case.
If you are using a char
Yeah.
variable, then you
Okay.
can only have a single character in it. That is the limitation.
Okay.
Yeah. If you are
Okay.
using a char variable, you can only have a single character. Supposedly, I go for more, then
Mhm.
it would give me an error again. If you see this,
Yeah.
invalid character constant.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can only have a single character in this.
And what is the difference between float and double?
Float and double, this is basically 16-bit.
Okay.
I've just given this as 20. When you compile this code, it would become as 20.0 because this is a decimal value holding data type.
Okay. Only
Double is
difference
what? Double is something like 32-bit, I think. 32-bit signed decimal value holding data type.
okay. And if we
This
declare
is,
int in the instead of float, then it will be only 20.
yeah, you can
Okay.
you can have a larger data type. This will The only problem is this will hold more amount of memory, this will hold less amount of memory. So if you have a smaller number which has to be, accessed in a class and worked upon with, we go for the shorter version so that we can save memory. Otherwise, we can go for this double anytime as we want, as per our convenience.
Okay.
But to avoid memory leaks and have avoid some unwanted problems while compiling and executing our code, we go for the shorter versions as per the value that we want to store. That is the norm in Java.
Okay. And when we are using char and string, then we have to use a quote, single quote and double quote in that.
Yeah. For char, you have to use a single quote. For string, you always have to use a double quote.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay.
in addition to this, now as a Java developer or any other developer, we follow some specific conventions when we are, naming a variable or naming a function or naming a class. Now you have to understand, whenever we create a class, the name of the class has to start with a capital letter. Let me just type this as well for you. Java coding convention. We should, class name should always start with a capital letter. And then variable names should start with a small letter with camel case. Now what is camel case? If you want to understand this, camel case would be for a variable like my name. If you see this, character, it's starting with a small letter, but in between there is a capital letter. Now my and name, these are two different words, but when I'm naming a variable, I cannot have white spaces in it. So when I are combining these two different words, so I have to, when my first word is complete, the next word that I start, that has to start with a capital name. For another example, I can do something like this. Start my class with positive note. Now these are different words, as you can see. But when a new word is starting, I am always using a capital letter. As you can see this P and this N. So this is how you follow a camel case writing convention. So whenever you are coding in Java, you should always take care of these conventions. The same is with the function. Function should also start with a small letter. With a small letter and follow camel case. So any doubts till now with the camel case and coding convention? Hello,
Yeah.
Sunita? Hello? Yeah, Sunita, tell me.
This is just a coding convention. It's not something which the compiler
Yes.
understands accordingly, right?
No. This is just a coding convention. Like when we are starting with coding, we should know what all standards that we are following while
No,
creating.
basically with the camel case, I'm saying that the way you have written the function name, start my class with positive note, that one.
Yeah.
instead of giving space and all, we are trying to represent it like that for coding
Yes.
convention.
Yes.
Okay.
The compiler anyways skips the white spaces while compiling the code. White space is irrelevant of the Java compiler. So
Other things are mandatory, I think. The class name should start with capital letter.
yeah, that is mandatory.
Okay.
This one is, but variable names can also start with capital letter, but we follow some standard practice when we are creating anything, any class, any function, any attributes. So these are some things which we need to take care of. So class name should always start with a capital letter, but these are not the forced ones, but we should.
Coding conventions.
Yes. This one is the stressing part. That's why I always written should always start. So I hope this part is clear to you all, guys.
Yes, Ravi.
Megha?
Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So the next part that we would have is now creating a class file with different data types and executing those data types with the main function. This is the next part. Now, to make you understand, we would be creating another Java project. So I hope you have already understood how to install your Eclipse. Once you extract your Eclipse file, once you extract your Eclipse file, you would see it something like this. Let me go to this. You will get a zip file like this. I hope you are able to see this. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So you would
Yes.
be having a zip file like this, and what you have to do is you have to extract this. So once you extract this, file, you will have these all contents in it, and you will have an Eclipse exe file. This is what you have to use to run your Eclipse. You don't have to install it. You just have to extract this folder to some place. So I have extracted this to this folder, F Selenium. So this is having my Eclipse and all other setups, if you can see. So after you do that, you have to launch your application using the exe file that I just showed. After that, you have to go to File, New, and create a Java project. Now you also have to name your Java project with a capital letter. If you see this, it will not show you any error, but as a standard practice norm, you should always name your Java project in a caps letter. So we would be naming something like this, starting with Java with me. Something like this. You can name it anything, but you should start with a capital letter. So this is just an example. So when you click on finish, there would be a source folder. There would be a source folder in that. After that, what you can do is go to build path, configure build path. You can have click on add library. You can go to JRE. You can select this option. You will have this workspace default. Whatever Java that you have installed in your system, it should reflect in this place. You can click on finish and OK. And remove this JRE system library Java SE 1.7. Remove from build path. We need JDK to compile and execute our code. So that's why we are only including this. Now in whatever test that you create in Java, the thing is you have to create it in a source folder. Now what source folder is? It's a folder which is understood by Eclipse IDE, and all the Java files that we create, the files with .java extension, that would be compiled and executed only when they are created in this folder, the source folder. So all the Java files have to be created in the source folder itself and not with any other folder. If you want, you can have another source folder with a different name. Just what you have to do is just go to this new, create a source folder again. And you can name it anything that you want, ABC or whatever. You can click on finish. You will have another source folder. You can again have Java files created in this ABC folder as well. So we would start working. So for time now, I would just delete this. So this thing is clear to you guys, creating a Java project and having a source folder in the Java project and adding the Java standard library in your workspace. So I hope these points are clear with you. Any questions on this with the Eclipse configuration?
Just that GRE library file that we added,
Yes.
how do we do it? Once again, can you show?
Mega, I think I have to give you guys 10 minutes of break in between because there is something that I have to do. So you guys just take 10 minutes of break and we would be continuing from this part after 10 minutes. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys have 10 minutes break in between. Okay?
Okay.
You guys have 10 minutes break right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
हेलो। हाँ, अरे मैंने उन लोग को बोला 10 मिनट में।